The night sky over Atlanta is not black, but a sickening, pulsing orange. Flames climb the sides of brick warehouses, their heat shimmering in the cold November air. A Union soldier, his face smudged with soot and grime, leans on his rifle, watching a church steeple finally surrender to the fire, collapsing into a storm of sparks. Smoke, thick and acrid, burns the back of his throat, carrying the ashes of a city that was. This is not the end of a battle. It is the beginning of a reckoning. Standing on a small hill overlooking the chaos is a man with piercing eyes and a scowl carved into his features. General William Tecumseh Sherman stares into the inferno he has unleashed, his expression unreadable. Behind him, stretching back into the darkness, an army waits. 62,000 Union soldiers, veterans hardened by years of brutal conflict in the American Civil War. Their packs are heavy, their bayonets fixed, their blue uniforms frayed and faded. They have taken the great city of Atlanta, a vital heart of the Confederacy. But victory is not enough. The war has dragged on for 3 bloody years, a relentless meat grinder of battles and sieges. The South, though battered, refuses to break. Its armies still fight with fierce determination, and its people still support the cause with unwavering will. Sherman believes that will is the true center of gravity, is a target you cannot hit with a cannonball. It must be crushed systematically, psychologically. He has devised a plan of unimaginable audacity and cruelty. He will cut his own supply lines, severing his army from the Union and plunging deep into enemy territory. He will march 300 miles to the port of Savannah, and he will make Georgia howl. The morning light reveals the full scale of Atlanta's ruin. Chimneys stand like lonely gravestones in a landscape of rubble. The air is still choked with smoke. The order is given, a bugle call cutting through the dawn quiet. 62,000 pairs of boots begin to move, a river of blue flooding out of the city's corpse. The great column of men and wagons and artillery stretches for dozens of miles, a serpent of steel and canvas uncoiling across the red Georgia clay. They carry with them only what they can, for they will live off the land. They will feast on the enemy's harvest. The march begins. At first it is orderly. The soldiers move with a grim purpose, their faces set. They pass farms where families stand on porches, their expressions a mixture of fear and defiance. A young girl clutches a corn-husk doll, her eyes wide as the endless river of blue coats flows past her home. Then the foragers are sent out. They are called bummers, and they are the instruments of this new kind of war. A squad of 10 men breaks from the main column, their rifles held at a casual ready. They approach a prosperous-looking farmhouse, its white paint peeling in the autumn sun. A farmer, his face a mask of anger, stands in his doorway, a shotgun held loosely in his hands. He is outnumbered, and he knows it. The Union soldiers sweep past him. One kicks open the door to a smokehouse, revealing hanging hams and sides of bacon. Another heads for the chicken coop, the sound of frantic clucking filling the air. A young private, barely a man, chases a squealing pig through a muddy pen, finally catching it and hoisting it over his shoulder. They take flour from the pantry, potatoes from a root cellar, and horses from a barn. They are not just feeding an army, they are erasing a way of life. They are waging total war against civilian infrastructure. The path of destruction is 60 miles wide. What the army does not consume, it destroys. A soldier puts a torch to a barn filled with hay, the dry structure erupting in a whoosh of flame. Another uses the butt of his rifle to smash the glass of a cotton gin, the intricate machinery that powers the Southern economy. The horizon is a constant smear of smoke. For the people of Georgia, the world is ending, one farm, one town at a time. They can track the Army's progress by the pillars of black smoke that climb into the sky during the day, and the malevolent glow that stains the horizon at night. The railroad is a primary target. A company of men surrounds a section of track that connects the heart of the Confederacy. They work with a practiced efficiency. Crowbars sink into the earth, prying the heavy iron rails from the wooden ties. The ties are piled high and set ablaze, a roaring bonfire in the middle of the Georgia wilderness. The rails are laid across the fire until they glow a menacing cherry red. Then, using heavy tongs, the soldiers lift the searing, pliable metal. With grunts of exertion, they wrap the softened rail around a massive oak tree, the hot iron hissing and scorching the bark. The result is a Sherman's necktie, a twisted, permanent scar on the landscape, a symbol of a connection that is irrevocably broken. Day after day, the march grinds on. The soldiers' faces become lean and hard. Their uniforms are caked in mud, their boots worn through. The physical toll is immense, a relentless trudge through forests, across rivers, and over muddy roads. But the psychological toll is different. A young soldier from Ohio sits by a campfire, cleaning his rifle, his movements automatic. He thinks of his own family's farm, the neat fields, and the full barn. He looks into the fire, and in its dancing flames, he sees the face of a southern woman who spat at his feet as he carried corn from her crib. He pushes the thought away, his jaw tightening. This is war. This is what it takes to win. For the civilians, there's only helplessness. A mother gathers her children into a single room as the sound of the approaching army grows from a distant rumble to a deafening roar. She tells them to be quiet, to be brave. She can hear the splintering of her front door, the heavy tramp of boots on her wooden floors, the shouting of unfamiliar voices. She clutches a family Bible to her chest, its worn leather a small comfort against the overwhelming tide of invasion. When they are gone, she emerges to find her home ransacked, her food gone, her future a terrifying blank. All that is left is the bitter will to endure. The 60,000-man army is a living, breathing entity. It is a plague of locusts in blue, consuming everything. Scouts on horseback range far ahead, their carbines ready. Artillery pieces, heavy and implacable, churn the roads into muddy quagmires. The wagon trains carry ammunition and little else, a testament to Sherman's absolute confidence in his army's ability to provide for itself. He rides among his men, his presence a constant source of resolve. He is not loved, but he is respected, an iron-willed leader for an iron-willed task. He has promised to break the Southern will, and his soldiers are the hammer. The march continues, a 300-mile journey through the heart of the enemy. The landscape changes from rolling hills to dense pine forests, and finally to the marshy, alligator-infested swamps of the low country. The air grows heavy with the salty tang of the sea. After more than a month of isolation, of burning and foraging, the goal is in sight. Lookouts climb the tallest trees, and their shouts echo back through the column. Savannah. The city stands defiant, protected by fortifications and a small, desperate garrison of Confederate soldiers. The weariness of the long march evaporates, replaced by the grim energy of battle. The Union Army, ragged but unbeaten, deploys for the final push. Cannon fire echoes across the marshes. Muskets crackle, the smoke of gunpowder mixing with the coastal fog. The fighting is sharp, brutal, but brief. The depleted Confederate forces are no match for the overwhelming numbers of Sherman's veteran army. The defenses are breached. The city is theirs. Union soldiers march into Savannah not as destroyers, but as conquerors. The city is spared the torch that consumed Atlanta. General Sherman, ever the strategist, sees its value intact. He rides through the handsome squares and avenues, his army securing every street. The long, agonizing march is over. A telegraph line is quickly established, reconnecting the army to the outside world. Sherman pens a message directly to the Commander-in-Chief, Abraham Lincoln. It is a simple, powerful declaration of his success. I beg to present you as a Christmas gift the city of Savannah. In the quiet aftermath, a Union soldier stands on the docks, looking out over the Atlantic Ocean. He feels the cool sea breeze on his face, washing away the grime and the smoke of the interior. For the first time in a month, he does not have to wonder where his next meal will come from, or if an enemy patrol lurks in the trees ahead. The vast blue expanse of the ocean is a symbol of his journey's end and of the Union's unbreakable power. The march to the sea is complete. The impact ripples across the Confederacy. The material destruction was catastrophic, shattering the South's ability to supply its armies and feed its people. But the psychological blow was even more devastating. The march proved that the Confederate government could not protect its own heartland. It showed that a Union army could march with impunity through their land, destroying at will. Letters from home now carried stories not of defiance, but of despair, reaching Confederate soldiers in the trenches of Virginia and Tennessee, eroding their will to continue the fight. Sherman's brutal campaign of total war did not just destroy infrastructure, it broke the spirit of the rebellion. It was a cruel, violent, and controversial chapter in the American Civil War, but it undeniably shortened the conflict, hastening the final, bloody end. Tell me your favorite war story I should talk about next. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.